Hi everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Kat.
And I'm Elsie.
And today we are talking about Australia. Or Australia. Sorry.
Australia.
I was trying to do an Aussie accent. I think I didn't do it.
Oh, can you do it again?
Australia.
Australia.
I don't know.
So we're talking about different kinds of animals in Australia.
Yes, exactly. We are talking about, because, Australia has some of the most unique and strange animals in the world. And more than a few.
Yeah. And there are so many cute animals like koalas.
Yeah.
Kangaroos.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
And echidnas, which are these little spiky things that lay eggs. They're very cute.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we're talking about 3 different animals, 1 per day, because this is a 3-day article. So every day you get to learn a lot about a different, unique Australian animal. So what do we have first? We're going to talk about it in the article today. Let's find out what it is.
Reading.
Want to see a different kind of animal? Come to Australia. Australia is home to many famous and wonderful animals, such as the kangaroo and the koala. However, it's home to other unique animals too. The platypus is a classic example. To say that the platypus is unusual is putting it mildly. While it looks strange, some of its body parts bear similarities to those of other animals. Its tail is flat, like a beaver's. Its body has a thick fur, like an otter's. This helps it stay warm underwater. Perhaps its most obvious features, however, are its bill and webbed limbs, which look like a duck's. The fact that they're one of the only mammals that lays eggs also makes them special. Male platypuses have small spurs on their back feet that let out venom. It isn't strong enough to kill people, but it could make them very sick. When a platypus dives underwater to look for food, it closes its eyes, ears, and nostrils. So how does it find food? Its bill has the ability to sense even the tiniest movement. It's also able to find food by using electrolocation, which is a way of using electricity to sense where things are.
All right, our article starts out today with saying Australia is home to many famous and wonderful animals, such as the kangaroo and the koala, which we already talked about.
没错，对呀，澳洲是很多动物的家。Be home to 好，代表就是点点点的家，是点点点的所在地。那像是袋鼠啊、无尾熊，这些都是有名的动物。They're very popular and famous.
Yeah, I think everybody loves koalas. They want to hug them. They want to feed them. Sometimes you can even pet them if you go to Australia's zoos. They can be, pretty cool and chill and nice with people.
Have you done that before?
No, I have not. And kangaroos, apparently you should not try to pet because they can kick you really, really hard.
So you gotta be
punch you
careful.
really, really hard. Yeah. So anyway, the article says, however, Australia is home to other unique animals too.
澳洲呢，也是其他特别动物们的家。
So you thought kangaroos and koalas were interesting and weird? These are even weirder, especially this one. The platypus is a classic example. So platypus, we're going to learn a little more about it in a minute, but first we know that it's a classic example of a unique Australian animal. When something is classic, we use that to say that it's considered one of the best of its kind, or it's an example of something excellent. Or maybe it's just something that you think of the first time when you think of this thing. So when you think of Australian animals or weird animals, the platypus might be one of the first ones you think of because it is pretty weird. So it is a classic example of an Australian animal. It's one of the top examples. For another example, you could say pumpkin pie is a classic dessert eaten on Thanksgiving Day in the US. That means a lot of people like to eat it on that day.
Classic 这个形容词呢，就是经典的、典型的、有代表性的。那还有一个形容词跟它很像哈，字尾呢有 al，classical 这个形容词呢是古典的，跟经典的不太一样哦。那古典音乐呢，我们就会说是 classical music。那我们介绍到的这个动物是 Platypus，鸭嘴兽，它就是一个典型的例子。
I think is like duck, right? And what's the second part?
嘴 is the mouth. Show is the beast.
The duck mouth beast.
Yep.
Yeah, you can get the idea of what this is just from that. To say that the platypus is unusual is putting it mildly. So when we say you put something mildly, that means it's an understatement. You say, oh, it's unusual, but what you really mean is it's really, really weird. When you say something is putting it mildly, that means something is, you feel extreme about something, but you say it in a normal way. So if you could say, I'm a little annoyed, to put it mildly, means I'm absolutely furious.
Going to explode.
I'm really, really mad. So if you say, yeah, I'm sad, to put it mildly, you're devastated. Something like that. So unusual, to put it mildly, means really, really weird.
那 unusual 这个形容词呢是非比寻常的或是与众不同的，它的字首有 un 在，但是 un 的字首呢代表不点点点非点点点，那通常呢会与形容词、副词或是动词连用，所以on 加上 usual 合在一起就变成 unusual。那刚刚 Kat 提到的 to put it mildly 代表是讲的好听，说的委婉，所以呢说鸭嘴兽与众不同是比较委婉的说法。In fact, they're really, really weird and different.
Yeah, they are. I don't think there's any other mammal like them on Earth, any other animal like them on Earth. While it looks strange, some of its body parts bear similarities to those of other animals. Let's find out what a similarity is. When you say that two things have a similarity, it means they have some kind of quality that make them like each other. Not I like you, kind of like, but I am like you means like we have the same hair, maybe. We have something, we like look almost the same in our face. We have the same eye color, things like that. If you look almost the same or are almost the same but not totally the same, you are similar. So similarities are things that make you have in common. So, for an example, you could say, Lena and her grandmother have a lot of similarities, including the way they laugh. That means they're not exactly the same, but they have a lot of things in common. So, what makes a similarity between a platypus and other animals? I don't know.
对啊，那我们首先看一下 similarity 这个字，代表是相似点、类似处。那它是一个名词。那课文里面呢用到的搭配的动词是 bear。bear a similarity to something， 那就是有与点点点的相似处。所以鸭嘴兽有一些身体的部位和其他的动物是相似的。那如果你要用形容词来说的话，形容词是 similar。像是 A is similar to B。A、B 两者相似，像今天我可以说 My jeans are similar to yours.
Yeah, they are. They're not exactly the same, but they are similar. Similar color. So what is similar between a platypus and other animals? Its tail is flat like a beaver's. Okay, so it's flat. When something is flat, it has a very wide, smooth surface and not very thick. So think of a road. Think of, pancakes. Those are flat. Other things that are flat might be a cake when you don't bake it very well.
A flat cake.
Yeah. Or even somebody could have a flat stomach if they don't have a lot of fat on their stomach. So an example sentence, you could say, Amy forgot to let the bread sit. So when she baked it, it came out flat.
Amy 忘记要让那个面包在外面等一下，所以呢，她烘焙的时候就变成扁的了，平的了。所以 flat 这个形容词，平的、扁平的。那课文说到呢，鸭嘴兽的尾巴像海狸一样扁平。Okay.
So it has a flat tail.
Yes.
Like a beaver. Beavers often use their tails to slap the water. Probably platypuses can do the same thing. Its body has a thick fur like an otter's. Yeah, so otters have really, really thick fur that makes them like able to be in the water without getting their skin wet. And platypuses have the same thing, fur. The fur is the hairy coat of an animal, especially when it's soft and thick, like a platypus's. So when you pet a nice dog or a cat, you are petting their fur. They're covered in fur. So for an example sentence, you could say, the dog's fur is thick and soft, so people like to hug him.
Fur 代表就是动物的毛或是毛皮。那如果你要形容一只动物啊，毛茸茸的，你可以在 fur 这个字后面加上另外一个 r， 再加上 y， 变成 furry。好，毛茸茸的这个形容词。那鸭嘴兽的身体呢，就像海獭一样，毛茸茸的。It's waterproof.
Exactly. And platypuses are in the water a lot, so it makes sense to have thick fur. And the article says at that too. This helps it stay warm underwater.
是的，毛茸茸的身体呢，可以帮助它在水中 stay warm， 保持温暖。
However, these are not the weird things about a platypus. Some mammals have these.
Yeah.
Perhaps its most obvious features, however, are its bill and webbed limbs, which look like a duck's.
Oh.
So its bill, we already said it has a duck mouth, that is called a bill, and webbed limbs. So webbed means when your fingers or toes have pieces of skin between them. Like if you think of like a mermaid or fish fins or a duck, ducks have webbed feet. And limbs are, as you might guess, legs or arms, or, including your hands, including your feet. Those are your limbs, and everything that they go off of is your torso. But yeah, your arms are your limbs, your legs are your limbs. Also, you could call the large branches of a tree its limbs. So basically anything that comes off the body. Yeah, that's a limb. Now, for an example sentence, Naomi's limbs are very long, so she looks tall and thin.
OK， 那我们这边说到呢，鸭嘴兽它最明显的特征就是 webbed limbs。Webbed 这个形容词代表就是有蹼的 ，like your toes are connected by your skin.
Yeah, exactly, like the duck.
对的，那再来 limbs 是肢体，所以我可以说 I have 4 limbs, 2 arms and 2 legs.
Yes.
再来呢，鸭嘴兽的肢体是有蹼的，就像鸭子一样 like a duck.
All right, so they have duck features and they have beaver features and otter features, and there's something else about them. The fact that they're one of the only mammals that lays eggs also makes them special. Mammals usually don't lay eggs. We are mammals. Mammals are any kind of animal that feeds milk to their young, like think of like elephants, dogs, any other animal that has like fur, or let me think, seals, whales, dolphins, those are mammals. But none of them lay eggs. Platypuses lay eggs. It's crazy. So yeah, they are very strange. And in the sentence, we also saw we have a language in focus.
So now, let's take a look.
Yep.
今天的 language in focus 要讲到的是 the fact 或是 the belief 或是 the news that 加上主词再加上动词的用法。那这边呢看到的 that 可以引导名词子句当同位语，对其所修饰的先行词呢加以补充说明。那本句型中呢常见的先行词有刚刚讲到的 fact, idea, news, belief 好这一些字等等。那用法呢第一个that 子句可以当主词的同位语，那要注意哦，句子中的动词啊，应该根据先行词来改变。像是呢，我们可以说 The old belief that cats are evil comes from scary stories about witches. 那这里你看到的先行词是 the old belief， 它是一个单数名词，所以你看到本句的动词用的是 comes， 好，第三人称单数，所以 come 要加 s。那这个句子代表的意思是呢，猫很邪恶的这种旧观念来自关于女巫的恐怖故事。那再来第二种 that 子句呢，还可以当受词的同位语哦。For example, we heard the news that a shopping mall will be built in this area. 代表我们听到这里要盖购物中心的消息。So back to the article, we were talking about that platypuses are the only mammals that lay eggs.
Not the only one of the only ones.
Oh, one of the only ones?
Yeah. So there's another one that I know of. It's called the echidna. And it's like if you think of a hedgehog, but it has a really long nose, and they live in Australia too.
Okay.
So they also lay eggs as mammals.
所以有一些哺乳类是会下蛋的，那我们鸭嘴兽是其中一种。
These are called monotremes. They're a very special kind of mammal. They only exist in Australia and that area as far as I know. So they're very, very unique. Yeah, so platypuses are really, really weird. They look kind of like a bird, but they also look kind of like a mammal. So here's one more thing about them that might surprise you. Male platypuses have small spurs on their back feet that let out venom.
Oh, I didn't know that about them.
Yeah, so they have spurs. Now, usually when we talk about spurs, these are like a thing that you attach to the back of your boot. And it has a sharp, pointy thing when you're riding a horse that you can kind of put it into the horse's side, make the horse go. That's a spur. But on the back of the platypus's feet, it's just kind of like a spike. Yeah, so it's a spike on the back of their feet, and they let out venom. So to let something out means to cause something to come out. Basically, like if they stab you with it, they're going to let out something into your bloodstream, which is not good because it's venom. Venom is poison that is produced by an animal and used to kill or injure another animal by stinging them or biting them. So it's different than poison. Like when animals are poisonous, it means if you eat it, you will die or get sick. Venom, if they're venomous, it means like if they bite you or they sting you, you'll get sick or might die. Yeah. So platypuses have some venom in them. It's kind of weird.
OK， 那这个 venom 毒液在哪边呢？在 spurs 里头 ，spur 代表的是长在鸟类或是部分动物后脚骨头上面的尖刺，特别是公的鸭嘴兽，它的后脚上面有尖刺 ，and they let out venom。let something out 代表就是放出、释放，那 venom 代表就是动物的毒液。There's a movie called Venom, right?
Yeah, about the enemy of Spider-Man. You know, the guy who's all black, has the really long tongue and the scary face. That's Venom.
中文应该叫做猛毒吧，如果没有记错的话。
Yeah. Anyway, so venom, that's, something that can make you sick. It isn't strong enough to kill people, but it could make them very sick.
毒液呢不会杀死人，但会让人很不舒服。
So, but hopefully, I think actually platypuses are usually either very shy or they're friendly. So they won't usually sting people.
Unless you attack them first,
Yeah,
right?
just be careful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the article says when a platypus dives underwater to look for food, it closes its eyes, ears, and nostrils. So it can't see, it can't smell, and it can't hear.
Oh, so it's meditating.
But it's looking for food. Yeah, so this only happens when it dives under the water. Let's learn what dive means. When somebody dives or an animal dives, it means they go underwater or they go down to a deeper level underwater. Like, for example, a whale might dive very, very far down in the ocean. However, when we use it for humans, we're talking about jumping into the water head first with your arms out. So think of Olympic diving where they jump off of a very high platform, they dive into the water and try and splash as little as possible. So that's diving, is going down into the water. And so platypuses do this because they look for food underwater. So here's another example. The seal dove under the water to catch a fish that it wanted to eat. Right, so platypuses dive and they close up their ears, their eyes, and their nostrils. Your nostrils are the two holes at the end of your nose. Of course, they have these too, because they have a nose, they have to breathe.
是的，所以 nostrils 代表就是我们的两颗鼻孔。How many nostrils do they have? Two?
Just two.
跟我们一样。好，那再来呢？那个潜水下潜的动作是 dive， 那它的三态要特别注意哦，是 dive、dove。那下潜觅食的时候，鸭嘴兽就会闭上眼睛、耳朵还有鼻孔。
So they close up their nostrils and their ears and their eyes. They can't see, hear, or smell. So how does it find food? Its bill has the ability to sense even the tiniest movement. Ooh.
Its bill. bill 代表的是喙，好，就是鸟兽动物的尖长型嘴巴。那鸭嘴兽的喙呢，可以察觉到最微小的动作。
It's also able to find food by using electrolocation, which is a way of using electricity to sense where things are. Electrolocation.
哇，这个这么长的字跟电有关系。electrolocation 代表是电讯定位，那就是用电来察觉东西的所在之处。少数的动物啊，像是鸭嘴兽、海豚等等，都有这样子的电流接收器，那它们就可以侦测水中动物发出的微弱电流，然后找出猎物的位置。鸭嘴兽的电流接收器有高达4万个。Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So their bill, if you ever watch a video of a platypus in the water, they're kind of sweeping around like this, almost like a metal detector. And so they can find any food that's in front of them, and they use electrolocation, which is something that like sharks also have, I think. They can sense electricity in the water. So platypuses are really cool animals. Really weird too. If you want to know a fun fact about them, when a platypus sample, like a stuffed platypus, was first sent to England, the person who got it thought it was a joke. He thought it was fake.
Oh.
Yeah. He thought that his colleague or friend sent him like, you know, a beaver with a duck beak. So it's just so weird that you wouldn't believe it's real.
Yeah, but like you said, they thought it was fake, but actually it was a real animal.
Yeah, and so they're so interesting, and they're actually very nice. You know, I would like to meet one someday.
Me too.
Yeah, so that's all we have about platypuses. Tomorrow we're going to have a new and interesting animal for you, but first we're going to go to our For You chat for today.
For You chat.
All right, our chat question for today. What fact about the platypus do you find the most surprising? Why?
Surprising.
Yes.
I'm surprised that they are mammals, but they lay eggs. Because that means they're very different from us, from human beings.
Yeah, they don't have their babies in their belly. They have their babies out in an egg.
Yeah, like a chicken's egg.
Yeah, like a bird.
Like a bird's egg.
Yeah, I think their eggs are like yay big. I'm not sure. But
Big
yeah,
or small?
pretty big.
Pretty big.
Because they're a big animal. I mean, they're like this long, I guess, without their tail. Yeah, something like that. Apparently, they can cuddle up in people's arms. They're like water puppies. It's very cute.
So are they friendly or no?
They can be friendly. Like if they are raised by rescuers, they will show affection to them and they will cuddle with them. It's very cute.
So what about you? What do you find the most surprising?
The most surprising? I mean, I knew for a long time that they laid eggs. So I think the most surprising thing for me is the electrolocation. That they can sense electricity in the water.
Right.
That's crazy. I didn't know that they close.
With their eyes, noses, and ears closed.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we did that, we'd be helpless. We'd be like, where am I? I can't find anything.
Yeah, I will die.
Yeah. Not die, but like, you know, don't know where we are. Exactly. So that's all we've got about the platypus. Tomorrow we're going to show you a new interesting Australian animal. But until then, we'll see you then. Bye!
Bye!
Vocabulary Review.
Classic. Jack made the classic mistake of forgetting where he parked his car. Similarity. I can tell that Brian is your brother. You share many similarities. Flat. Mark used an iron to make his shirt completely smooth and flat. Fur. Some people who live in very cold places wear fur coats to stay warm. Limb. After sitting at a desk all day, I needed to stretch my limbs a bit. Dive. Carrie loves to dive into the ocean with her mask on, so she can see under the water.
智慧小补帖。
To put it mildly. Webbed. mammal, spur, venom, nostril.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net